Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing basically a review for the Premier League strikers. There's going to be a lot of good strikers in this FIFA. Not necessarily for my playstyle. To be honest with you guys, I don't think there's actually a full meta for the Premier League striker, but there are characteristics of certain players that would be good and would be bad, right? So obviously they're not going to be the full meta because they're not going to be like legend players or Ronaldo's or anything like that. But I'll basically give you guys the reviews of what's bad with the players and what's good. So I'm just sending that message out right now and saying like none of these players are the full meta, but they have their own capabilities that make them good and make them bad, right? So we're going to start off with AGUERO, KANE here, LUKAKU, that's a Champions League card, so let's put in this one here. We got AUBAMEYAng right there. That's an 87, so we'll probably switch that out too. LACAZETTE we already have is in here as well. We're going to put all these strikers in, and we're going to take a look at all of them, and we're going to talk about like what makes them good, what makes them bad, so on and so forth. So Morata, VARDY, Arnautovic. I think Aubameyang 87 is the. I think 87 is the one for Aubameyang. Could be the one actually. I'm not really entirely too sure. That's for center back. So let's go back to the strikers over here. Um, I've tried a few of these guys already, but there's some cards that I don't like, and I'll explain why I don't really like them too much. I'll put in like Daniel Sturridge and so on and so forth. So we'll start off with like I guess the higher rated ones, right? Like Harry Kane and stuff. So in this year's game, you guys know that pace isn't as relevant as it has been in previous years. Like sometimes you'll have a player with like Mane, for instance, who has like 92 pace, 93 pace. He has really good acceleration, really good sprint speed, but he doesn't get through on goal because people catch up to him. That's because defensive AI is really overpowered this year, right? And whether people like that or not is their own opinion, right? So with Aguero, right? We look at Aguero's card. He doesn't have the pace. You can upgrade the pace, right? So if you look at his card, you can give him a plus 10. Excuse me, you could give him a plus 10 in the acceleration and a plus 10 in the sprint speed, 98 acceleration with 90 sprint speed, while increasing his finishing stats in general, because his composure and his dribbling is already very good. So you can use this card, right? So this is why players like this are not the full meta, but they're still good to use, obviously, right? Not the full meta because he's missing the physical. So he has the strength, which is okay to have when you're 5'8", but when you're a striker, and you're 5'8" and you don't have like high strength and aggression, there's going to be a certain element to your gameplay that you're not going to be able to do because it's Aguero. Is Aguero a good card this year? Absolutely. He has his own characteristics. When I say that a card isn't a full meta, it's because he's missing certain aspects of his card that isn't full meta. But there aren't a lot of players in FIFA that are quote unquote perfect for what they offer. So it's just me explaining that when I explain these things, it's just these elements that's going to be missing from your gameplay, right? Because some people take this to heart and they'll be like, oh, that means that you don't like anybody in FIFA. If you want to play the full meta, there are certain things you're not going to be able to do, right? So that's the only thing that I try to explain, right? So Aguero's card looks good because he's high medium work rates with a 4-star, which is fantastic to have. He's 5'8", so again the crosses you're going to be missing from. It's the crosses, the physical aspect, and the winning the ball in the air in general, right? Because sometimes it's actually nice to be able to just cross the ball to the midfield. Like if you have your striker being forward, crossing the ball off to him and then him heading it off to someone else is a really huge element of gameplay so that you can go on the counter attack essentially, right? So Harry Kane's the next card. So Harry Kane doesn't have the pace at all, but he does have very, very good finishing stats in general. I think he has a 4-star weak foot too with high work rate. So I've tried Harry Kane this year. He's not a player that I like, right? Obviously because of the agility and balance being low, so his dribbling is not really it's not cutting inside. It's his characteristics really matches his characteristics in real life. He doesn't really like cut really quickly, like his dribbling is not really there. But is this card a good card for what it is? Yeah, absolutely. Because this year, right, because pace is not as relevant, his finishing stats are amazing, right? If you get him into a position where he has an open shot, his shooting is going to be really, really good. He's going to hit the target most of the times, right? Because his finishing is very high, and so is his composure with a 4-star weak foot. If he had a 5-star weak foot, it would be even better for him. But Yeah, you know, his card's pretty decent. If you don't really mind the pace too much and you want to increase his dribbling as much as possible, probably giving him a sniper would be the most ideal thing to do. Possibly giving him whatever I think gives him physical dribbling and pace could benefit him as well. If that's even a card, I don't really know. Those cards would be very good. Now his problem is the high work rate. So the high work rate's very weird having as a striker. And certain players it works because they offer certain stats that kind of like help them out a little bit, because you know attacking positioning and all that kind of stuff is very huge. So with the high work rates on Harry Kane, he could still be very good. It's a player that you have to try out, because if you like the physical type of strikers in this game, then he's obviously going to be very good for you, because him, you know, players like Lewandowski and stuff, those guys are going to be awesome, right? Because in this year's game, you can actually use him. 45-degree angle finesse shots are very useful in this year's game, and Harry Kane's obviously going to be amazing at doing them. Cross-body shots, he's probably going to be very good. If he's through on goal and he has to shoot cross-body, he's probably going to be a god at doing those too. So for what it offers, it is a good card, right? Now, the things that's obviously missing is the pace, the agility, and balance, and that's pretty much it, because everything else is pretty much very good. His passing is already pretty decent, 80 short passing, 82 long passing, so it's just the pace and the dribbling that is missing with the card, because he does have the height, he does have the weak foot, he's missing the skill moves, but skill moves are like a little bit iffy this year. You can use them, but sometimes they don't come off. Like the registration in this game is a little bit off for skill moves. Sometimes you'll do a ball roll, they won't do it at all. Sometimes you'll do a roulette and they won't do the roulette. They'll do like a different skill move. So the registration with it is a little bit weird. So it's actually better to just dribble most of the times. Even fake shots sometimes don't come off, right? So not a big deal that he doesn't have the skill moves, right? Next card we have here that I reviewed earlier was VARDY. So I liked VARDY for what he was. Now, my biggest problem with VARDY was you really do need to upgrade his balance and agility. So I might actually consider using VARDY again over LACAZETTE, just because I feel like I'm missing the 5'10 presence with some sort of physical presence too, right? His strength is low in 67, but his aggression is 92. So when he chases after the ball, it's actually very helpful, because he does also have 82 composure with agility being 75 and 76 balance. I don't remember if I tried VARDY's card out with a sniper or with a hunter, but if I tried him out with a hunter, then I would definitely next time try him out with a sniper, because increasing that agility and balance as well as his composure and just general dribbling stats will be very beneficial, because it'll also increase his finishing and shot power. I don't know if it increases his shot power. No, I think it does increase the shot power on sniper, and then the finishing being set to 85, increasing that as well would be very helpful. Now, he is missing the weak foot. Weak foot's a very big deal in general for strikers, because then you're going to have linear play, right? So if you're in certain positions, you're not going to be able to shoot with his left foot. Even though you want to shoot with his left foot, you're going to have to take the extra touch, which wastes time. So, you know, that's the type of thing he's missing. His skill moves, yeah, again, like I said, skill moves are they're relevant. They're still going to be relevant, but they're not as relevant. You don't really need to use them this year, because again, the skill move registration is a little bit off. So 5'10 height is pretty nice to have with good aggression, because he has the acceleration and sprint speed to chase after someone and be able to outbody them because of that aggression stat. His finishing is very good, shot power is very good, dribbling could be good with a sniper card on it, so that's a big one. The big thing that sucks with this card is his passing stats. And passing stats, if it's like a 75 or 75, like on both short passing and long passing, I feel like that's decent enough. But I feel like when it's not 75, like with him it's 65 and 48, there are going to be certain situations where VARDY is going to be either on the right side or the cam spot, because they kind of like switch positions at times, right? And he's not going to be able to do a really good wide pass through on goal and stuff, right? The thing I noticed with the passing stats in general, the most, is always the first time passes. So when you do a first time pass, when a player has bad long passing and short passing, it usually is either one, very inaccurate, or two, just not very good at all. So you can't really do first time passes with him, and first time passes are helpful because, again, defensive AI is very effective. So when you can do that first time pass or first time shot or whatever it is, it kind of saves you time from touching the ball first time and then passing it, because those little few seconds, the players kind of just like warp to you really quickly. So not necessarily ideal situation. Next card that we have here is Arnautovic. So I've tried Arnautovic out, and again, doesn't fit my playstyle because his agility and balance is really poor. A lot of people like this card because his composure is decent, his finishing, his general stats are decent, right? So he has everything, he's missing everything but defense, but he's a striker, so it's not a big deal, obviously. But his his slowness on the ball in terms of taking those quick touches when my left mid and right mids are making those runs, it just takes too long for me because his agility and balance is too poor, considering that he is also 6'4", right? Is this card an effective card for what it offers? Absolutely. 4-star, right? With 78 finishing, you can increase that finishing with a sniper card or a hunter card. Preferably sniper if you don't care too much about the pace, because you do want to increase that agility and balance as much as possible, and his dribbling stats, because 6'4" with that agility and balance will take him really long to dribble on the ball. And then it'll also increase the composure, I think, by 5. So he can be a very good card in all fairness, because he is a high medium. 4-star is very nice. Maybe I'll give him a go one time again, because, you know, having the person who has that 6'4" height is definitely helpful, but he doesn't have that great of jumping. It is on a 67, right? So, but for what it offers, it is pretty decent for what it is, right? Next card we got here is Gabriel Jesus. So my biggest downfall of this card is definitely the weak foot going down, which does kind of suck in all fairness. But because his dribbling stats in general are very good, you may just want to give him a hunter card to make his shooting as good as possible, because if you look at his dribbling, agility is 93, 92 balance. I could actually try this card out sometime in the future. He could be really good. Who knows? High work rates could present to be a problem for certain runs for the player to make on a lone striker position. 4-star skills is very nice to have. His dribbling is going to be fantastic. He has good stamina. Aggression is pretty decent considering that he is 5'9". Yeah, I'd probably sniper. The thing about giving sniper is to improve the composure, because composure is always going to be an important stat at FIFA. So if you give him a sniper card, you'll increase his shot power, finishing, and composure. But if you just give him a hunter card, you'll increase his pace and his finishing, but his composure will still be 82. 82 could be enough for certain situations, but it's like those really tight games where 82 composure could be a nuisance to have, right? So if he was like an 85 composure, it would be perfect in my opinion, because 85 is a nice cutoff for me personally. But hunter would probably be the most viable card to use on this Gabriel Jesus. Again, that sucks that his weak foot was downgraded, but he still does look like a good card for what he offers. Jumping 78 is quite decent with 75 heading accuracy, considering he is 5'9", is pretty nice too. The heading accuracy you do notice a lot in this game, by the way, is like if a person has bad heading accuracy, it's a stat that definitely pops out for sure. Alvaro Morata, high work rates, could be a very good card too. One of those physical type strikers as well. I'd probably recommend giving him a sniper as well, because his agility and balance is really low, and so is his composure. So he could be a very good card. You'll be missing the pace, obviously, but again, not too relevant this year. Pace will always be relevant, and in the last video you guys saw what the top meta teams would be: pace, dribbling, passing, shooting, right? But these videos that I make in the future, when I'm comparing like Premier League strikers and all these types of guys, they're not full meta, but they'll offer what they can offer, what their characteristics offer. You know what I'm saying? So Alvaro Morata looks like a decent card. High work rates is kind of eh. 4-star weak foot is good. You need a 4-star at least on your striker, so it's not linear play. So if you're on the left side, you can shoot with his left foot. If you're on the right side, you can shoot with his right foot. Attributes: his finishing is okay, his shot power is okay. So again, I'd probably give him a sniper, increase those shooting stats as much as possible, composure as much as possible, agility, balance, so on and so forth. That's looking good. Lukaku, people tell me to try out this card a lot, but again, agility balance is really low. It's just my playstyle. I need to have someone that can cut really quickly to pass it off to the sides. Now, a lot of people will be like, a lot of people will have their opinion to say that it's not a big deal, but I'm just saying from my point of view, right? Like, it's just my opinion and what I think, right? His finishing looks very good. His dribbling is very poor. He does have 90 sprint speed and 77 acceleration. So with his dribbling already being poor, I'd probably still slap a sniper on him, to be honest with you. Just to increase that agility and balance as much as possible, as well as his composure, so that when he does take a shot in general, it is decent. Because a big deal with this card this year is that he is 4-star weak foot. I think he has a 4-star weak foot last year, but a left-footed player with a 4-star weak foot is very nice. As a striker, there's something about left-footed players that I actually prefer, because for some reason it's, and I feel like a lot of people might feel this way, you actually find yourself pushing downwards more than you do find yourself pushing upwards. It's a weird concept, but it's just kind of like how it is for me. Like if I'm wherever the left foot is on the right side or the left side, that's usually the side that I decide to push on most of the times. I don't know why, but it's just kind of that way for me when I play FIFA. But yeah, so the things you're obviously going to be missing is the acceleration is kind of low, and the agility balance is really low. But everything else with the card's actually quite nice. His passing is even pretty decent too, and his finishing is quite decent as well. So sniper on him would probably be the most ideal, again, because pace might not be too relevant for you guys to use. Lacazette is a card that I'm using now, and the thing again I noticed right away after using Lacazette on my team is that he's too short, and two, doesn't offer enough physical presence on the ball to be able to outbody people. So that's why I might try out Lacazette or Gabriel Jesus, so I can see what type of balance I want to have at the striker for now, right? The reason I want to try out VARDY is because of that aggression. That aggression helps out a lot, especially if I give him a sniper card to increase his agility and balance, right? So I have to try out those things and see how it works out. But for what Lacazette offers, his finishing is very nice. I've scored a couple of very good goals with his left foot, but I've also not really gone into many opportunities with him. If you see his player stats, I've played 29 games with him, and he's only scored 11 goals for me, right? So he's not necessarily an ideal card to use, because as a lone striker, he just can't get into positions himself because he's not big enough and strong enough to get past people. Like, if I do skill moves with him, the defensive AI will be on top of me really quickly, and they'll be able to get the ball really quickly, right? So he's a good card for what he offers, for what his stats say, but for the things that are missing on his card stats, especially the pace and the physical with his card, physical being probably the biggest attribute missing with this card, not necessarily an ideal card to use as a lone striker. Daniel Sturridge, I don't really need to look at these cards. I think these are the only mainstream strikers to look at. I can't really think of anybody else. So there's like AGUERO, there's Roberto Firmino, can't miss out Roberto Firmino. Roberto Firmino, I actually use Roberto Firmino. I was just like thinking of Premier League teams at the top of my head. So Roberto Firmino is actually a center forward in this game, right? So Roberto Firmino, I like Roberto Firmino, and I actually, instead of Hunter, again, because I want to see if the pace is going to be a big difference for me. The thing I noticed with him, and this is crazy, right? Because he is 80 agility and 81 balance. His 80 agility and 81 balance is still too low for me. I need players that have better agility and balance to move quickly on the ball, because agility and balance goes hand in hand with the height, and he is 5'11", so he's a tall dude. He's big in game, right? So I might consider putting a sniper on him instead to see if that works out in the agility, balance, and shooting department in general. So because I think that with the pace on Roberto Firmino, I don't notice me using the pace too much with him in the cam position, so I do want to try him out with a sniper so that his dribbling is quicker, so that when I'm laying off the passes or the shots to people, I'm quicker, or I'll be able to quickly do them instead of it taking more time to do, right? So I'll leave the pace part to my left mid, right mid, and striker, and then for the cam part, I want him to be able to dictate the play moving forward. That's why I really want to have like a Ruud Gullit in the team and give him a sniper to increase his agility and balance as much as possible, because I feel like having a big dude with the defensive capabilities would be very beneficial to have in the team. But that is going to conclude the video for today, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it. This is the video for the Premier League strikers, so the cheaper options for you guys to use. Aubameyang, I didn't look at Aubameyang's card. Ooh, almost forgot about that one. That's a big one. Aubameyang's card. So I mentioned this in the other video too. Aubameyang's card. So the reason why Aubameyang is the most meta striker from the Premier League in my opinion, because again, he does have the 4-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves, medium low work rates is okay to have, 6'2" with decent physical capabilities. He is 76 strength, so he can hold off someone to pass the ball off the sides. But this card is in dire need of a sniper, and with a sniper, his dribbling is still kind of slow on the ball because he is 6'2" with I think like 75 balance. I think that's what because I think they only give him like a +5 balance and like a +5 or +10 agility. But he is the most meta card to use in this game in terms of what he offers, because his finishing is quite nice with 87 finishing, 84 composure. If you give him a sniper card and you increase his shot power, finishing, agility, and balance in general, the card is significantly better because he already has the pace. You don't need to upgrade it even more. So this is one of the cards I'm going after right now, because there's nobody really similar to him right now. Timo Werner could be very good, but I haven't really tried out Timo Werner from the Bundesliga yet, because the thing about using the Bundesliga is that I would either have to go the Bundesliga or I would have to hybridize the team somehow, right? So, but Aubameyang is probably the most meta to use in terms of what he offers in game. So that is going to conclude the video for today, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you guys did enjoy it, please drop a thumbs up on it. Definitely helps out the channel a lot. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.